Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is BioLaser and today I'm going to be showing you guys why I think the new announced MISC Fortune is going to be the Vulture Killer. Now in CIG as a 4.0, there is only two salvaging ships, which is going to be the Reclaimer and the actual Vulture. The Vulture being the solo pick of the salvaging career. Now the Vulture technically is a huge ship compared to the new MISC Fortune, and it has two salvaging heads, unlike the new MISC Fortune that was just announced, and we'll jump right into that. Now the MISC Fortune has 12 grid cargo on the outside, while the Vulture has 12 grid cargo in the actual inside back compartment sealed, right? Now the only downside to the Vulture compared to the MISC is this, and I'm going to show you right now. In the new MISC Fortune, you're going to be able to have this mechanic in the game.
Salvage station, there's a panel and you can hit auto eject, or you can just eject it manually. And every time you eject, it will eject it out onto the exterior of the ship, and it will automatically snap it to the cargo grid.
It is pretty cool that you can eject the crates simultaneously on each side of the ship if you want to. Seeing them two salvage stations working together in tandem is kind of a new thing for us, so pretty neat.
So that's pretty cool. Now, as we just saw, the new MISC Fortune is not only going to have an auto eject button that is going to attach the new SCUs into the cargo grid, 6 on each side, but it has two sides. That means unlike the Vulture, where you only have one actual processor turning the internal storage into an RMC SCU, you're gonna have two, and it's gonna be auto going all at once, compared to the MISC Vulture, where once you're done salvaging, you're gonna have to come down the stairs, pull out your multi-tool, and then literally like attach this to the 12 cargo grid that you have currently in the actual Vulture, right? You could technically fit more cargo here, and then they'll run with the internal storage and as many cargo as you could fit here. You could fit as much as 39 SCU to go back home with. On the MISC Fortune, it's gonna be a whole different game. Now, what do I mean by that, and why do I say this is gonna be the Vulture Killer? The fact that, oh my god, that's that overlap. The fact that this is gonna, MISC Fortune is going to have the auto loading into the cargo grid, is gonna cut your time in half. So in my opinion, while it's taking you a whole run on the Vulture to get 39 SCUs back home, it's probably going to take you half the time on a MISC Fortune, meaning 12 plus 13 is going to be 25. So you probably could do 2 runs, meaning you'll probably bring back 50 SCUs of RMC back home, compared to the Vulture. When you come back, it's going to be 39, because you have to remember, you're going to have to pay the whole Tetris over here in the back to try to get things aligned correctly, right? Now, on the other side, on the MISC Fortune, you're only going to have one salvaging hand compared to the Vulture that has 2 salvaging heads. And if we go over to Urkel, you could actually see that. Now, if we come over here to Urkel, you see that they actually have the Fortune in here, and you see it only has a size 2 head. Salvaging head, right, compared to the Vulture that has 2 size 2 heads. Now I already pre-arranged all of the stealth components into both the ships, and if we put the stealth components, we could get the MISC Fortune as low as 4,416 compared to the Vulture, which is 6,5, or I would say if we round this up, it would be technically 7,613, right? So the MISC Fortune, if you're stealth salvaging, is going to be the better option, just because of the signature wise. Now we really kind of have to see what the time difference is really going to be between 2 salvaging heads and 1 salvaging head, right? That's really what it comes down to. But I still think the Fortune is gonna be the way to go, just because it has that gorgeous auto freaking loading into the cargo grid.
It is pretty
like the fact that it loads into the cargo grid automatically. It's great.
Ejected out onto the exterior of the ship.
Somebody did say that while this is actually something that is really cool, Somebody did say on one of the comments that actually this is great, but the Vulture is also supposed to have this, right? The Vulture is supposed to have automatically loading into the actual cargo grid as well. However, unless, in my opinion, unless this thing is coming with the Fortune, so now all of a sudden in the Vulture you're gonna have auto basically loading into this grid. As we can see right here, it comes out here. I don't see any conveyor belt that means that it's gonna do this. So until then, I don't think the Vulture is gonna be an option for a solo player. Again, in my opinion, you're gonna be able to do 2 runs on the Fortune while it will take you a whole run on the actual Vulture. And the whole going up and down the stairs, that's time consuming in my opinion. So in reality, when you really look at the efficiency, the Fortune might be the way to go. Now, again, we're gonna have to see how long it takes with only 1 salvage in hand compared to 2, because then it might just turn out to be, if it takes you twice the amount of time, which if you really do it, that's probably gonna be it, then is it gonna take you more time to salvage things than it would for you to rearrange things in here? That's really gonna be the option. I am gonna make a video on me salvaging on both the Vulture and the Fortune to see which one takes more time and which one can you get more cargo back home. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be the Fortune. However, the Fortune looks pretty. I do like the Drake, I guess, aesthetics, so I really like the Vulture and the fact that it has this cool paints of graffiti and stuff like that. So I really would be sad that the Fortune would be the killer, but I mean, hey, I'm gonna go for whatever is best. And I guess one of the biggest things that you kind of have to take into consideration, both the Vulture and the Reclaimer came out before CIG finally defined what salvaging is supposed to look like. And once they finally defined what salvaging is supposed to work or look like, then they decided to create the MISC Fortune. So this ship, I feel, is literally created to that specific job, you know? While this, they created and then they created salvaging, they actually created salvaging and then they created the Fortune. So on that note, I'm gonna leave you off in this video. What do you guys think? Is this gonna be the Vulture Killer, yes or not? I guess what it really comes down to is what is gonna be the pledge pricing for this ship, the MISC Fortune? Is it gonna be just like the Prospector, 155 pledge? Or is it gonna be more than the Vulture, 175 pledge? I guess if this MISC Fortune is cheaper than the Vulture, it is definitely going to seal the nail on the coffin with this, at least until they decide to add the auto loading into the cargo grid of the Vulture. That's really my thought process behind it. If the MISC Fortune is more expensive than the Drake Vulture, I would suggest that that's probably the right thing to do, because Drake is technically the cheaper, right? It's all made out of duct tape and nails and things like that, right? So you expect it to be cheaper compared to the MISC Fortune. If it's priced at a lesser price, then yeah, I think the best option for salvaging is gonna be, at least for solo salvaging, is gonna be the MISC Fortune. But I mean, again, what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below.